It's Super Bowl week.
Super Bowl week. And the two teams that probably nobody other than those two cities wanted to be in the Super Bowl are in the Super Bowl.
I did see, somebody makes this joke every year, but somebody did make one that was just like, of all the U.S., who's running for Philadelphia? Philadelphia. Who's running for Kansas City? Kansas City. Everyone else is shaded yellow, which is like, I'm just here for Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But you know what? It is the biggest betting weekend of the year.
Yes.
It is finally here, which means more updated odds and props for Super Sunday.
That's right. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting.
We've got hundreds of prop bets, MVP odds, and exclusive in-game live betting. BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion.
Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline offers you everything and more to enhance your game day experience.
Visit the website today and make game day action count a little bit more.
BetOnline, the game starts here. Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'm a dumb dad.
And my name is Evan, and I'm a dumb dad. And on today's episode, Kevin learns that his daughter's teacher does have the ability to communicate with him.
Yep. And Evan learns that when it comes to bike riding, he's a little rusty.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
January is finally over, which everyone hates.
Oh my God. Am I misremembering? Didn't we do this last year? Like, how long is January? That was like, that happened last year.
I don't remember, but possibly.
I think we did, because it was like this whole thing again, except for this time it was like 6 months.
I enjoyed the jokes this time because it felt apt.
Yeah, it did.
It was definitely whatever we were complaining about last January, which I'm probably forgetting and being insensitive, was nothing compared to what is happening. It's either way, I'm right. Either way, I'm right.
I don't think you're insensitive if you honestly forget.
Yeah,
but it could certainly come off as insensitive.
Because
I don't remember why either.
All I know
I'm nervous
is this
to find
January was a dumpster fire.
It was an absolute.
But luckily,
dumpster fire.
February's here and nothing bad will happen. Moving on.
Hey, including
by the time you're reading this, all of North Dakota was swallowed by a tornado.
Looking forward to February because our little live show tour is this month.
Yes.
I'm super pumped about it.
Yeah, we're really excited, guys. Washington, D.C. on February 11th, Philadelphia on February 12th, New York on February 14th, Boston on February 15th, and Pittsburgh on February 16th.
You know, when we were, of course, looking at all these dates, which ones work with our schedule, when we can really do all this stuff, and it just so happens that one of them is going to be Valentine's Day, and that's in New York City. And right away I was like, man, on Valentine's Day, I don't know, that could be tough. But then I started to really kind of fall in love with the idea. No pun intended there. Because our show's early enough, and all of our, our show, like early enough, whatever. 7:30 in New York, that's like before dinner, right? So it's plenty early to come out. But then I kind of thought, like, I don't know, there's something kind of fun about that. So you come out and see us in New York, and I'll have a good time. I don't know.
Listen,
there's going to be flowers there. I don't know how, but we'll figure that out.
I see what you're saying, but New York is the city that doesn't sleep. But when you're parents, you gotta sleep. I mean,
I don't know any New York parents, like hardcore New York parents.
They're not out till 4. They have children.
Well,
you can get home at 4.
You can still come home.
Your kids are still up in 2 hours.
Don't unsell the show.
No, come see the show. You're just saying it's early. It's not for parents. New York law doesn't apply to parents.
Well, all right.
But we're very excited. Come on out. Check it out. Check out the links. Let people know who live in that area if you don't live in that area. Or if you do, bring them out. We'd love to see them at the show.
Make the trek into the city. Come see the Dumb Dads.
Make the trek into the city.
Promise you it'll be worth it.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day. Man, what a 100 hours it's been.
You've had a couple 100 hours?
You and I both. It just feels like this week was like Monday, and then everything fell apart. And now here we are talking because we couldn't record until a weekend day, which is like what we never do.
Yeah, it's rare that happens. I needed to fly to Texas and back. Moved Phil back in.
Phil
For
is
those
back.
who know Phil, he's living with us.
Now we both simultaneously do the multi-generational household of knowledge and sharing.
Yep.
Spaces.
Yeah, it's great. So we're doing that. And then, I also had like movie night at our kids' school this week.
Yep.
So I had to like head up that, which if anybody remembers, last year ours was a disaster. Well, it actually worked out great. It was one of those things where it was a disaster if you were working on it. But if you weren't, it was like, that went great. It seems like everything went well. And it was like, we were using someone's phone hotspot to power a computer to stream a movie in an area where the service isn't great. And it never once buffered.
And we came, lucky. My family came just to go support your school, but also because movie nights are super fun.
Yeah.
Because I was disaster adjacent because
you were on deck
to
use the to use the hotspot in case because the guy goes, "When you use my hotspot, I don't know how much data I've left." And I was like, "Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Just see what happens."
Yeah. But I don't know. There's something funny. Like you always get through it or you figure out a way to get through it or you don't and it's awful and you hope it goes away. But like it's same thing like when we did our live show in the summer. We were out there traveling. Yeah. And like the first show, the guy's like, I can't get your computer to hook up to my system. And it's like, we're supposed to be on stage in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, my computer's supposed to be on stage. And he's like, has it in his hands. And he's like, I can't get this. It's like,
oh, yeah.
We've been here for 2.5 hours. Why is this happening? But like those kind of moments, I kind of like after the fact, I love those moments. Does that make sense? Because you're like trying to figure it out. It's just funny to think back on and be like, man, that felt like insane. Because it reminds me of like the next time it happens is like, but both of those times we figured out a way through it. So like if you try to just remove the stress in the situation, you can figure it out. But it's not easy to do that because you're like, there's like 200 students and family members behind me and I'm supposed to be streaming this movie and I can't even get it to play. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was our problem we had. This year was much smoother. We just used a DVD.
Yeah.
And it goes to show.
Oh, reliable.
Well, it just goes to show how much technology has like neutered us.
Uh-huh.
I grew up with VHS.
Yep.
I remember The Mask with Jim Carrey was the first DVD we owned. It was like, whoa.
Wow.
And it was like, it had extra features. And it was like, what is this new world? And now it's like, it's all streaming. So growing up with all of that to now here, I remember the stress I had of streaming it last year. So I emailed the company after I got, the approval and all the paperwork done. I was like, hey, just like a question, like, what's the best way to show this? Like, what do you think is the way I should show this movie to my kid's school? And he just emailed back, yeah, whatever way you like legally obtain the movie, we buy it, whatever, you can show it. And I was like, that didn't help at all. And then it just hit me.
Yeah, but seriously, if I give you an answer, now I'm liable for the answer. So you know what? You have the most fun you can have. How about that?
Oh, that's funny. I have your
how.
money. You're not my problem anymore. And then it wasn't until I called the kind of IT guy at the school.
Yeah.
He's about 20. She's 27.
Yeah.
He's a boy. But it was funny. It was on the phone with
Future's
him.
way ahead of him.
And it just hit me on the phone with him. He was like, so how do we want to do this? And I was like, I don't know, man, because I downloaded it last year, put my laptop on airplane mode to make sure it was downloaded, and your thing couldn't handle it, the projector. I was like, we could maybe a DVD. Forgot those existed.
You know what I was thinking? Like as you were talking to us, I was reminding us about growing up with like watching something on VHS. In many ways, it's probably the most reliable way to watch something, because a VHS you couldn't even it's something happened to the tape or something. Like a DVD is like it's reading the disc, it's going to play the disc.
Yeah.
Unless it's scratched. The only thing I can see is like if it's scratched, but you just bought it, so that's like fail safe basically. Or the problem last year was like bought the movie online, whichever fun way you would legally obtain the movie.
I bought it on like iTunes and then then downloaded it, which you can do with movies instead of streaming it.
Yep. So that's what you're thinking. Like I have it on my computer. The file is on my computer. But it's upfront amazing technology. It's an HDR, brightest colors you've ever seen in your life. Yep. But the projector that's like 3 years old is like, what is that?
I know. That's the thing.
I don't know what that is.
That is the one of the few drawbacks to technology advancing so fast. Is something 3 years ago
because
is like,
it's not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not. It's not all ships don't rise.
No.
Because it forces some of them to later on, and companies have to play. Technology like flips on its head like every 3 years, which is so fast. The coolest you can get to, like the best computer I can get today will be like the base like of standard 3 years from now.
Yeah.
But that's fast.
But I will say what was nice about it was we used a old MacBook. I don't know what generation it is, but it was early.
Yeah.
And it was cool to use that, and we watched the DVD with that, and it went great. What was the first DVD you owned?
I was trying to think when you said that what my first one.
Ours was The Mask with Jim Carrey.
And I don't think I remember which our first one.
It was
when our first.
So exciting because then they had in the bonus features, they had like the behind the scenes making of, which was just like you only ever caught making of when like HBO would show it or you know, NBC or ABC would do an exclusive of like, see this new upcoming movie or stuff, and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Now it's like on the DVD. I remember that was cool, and I remember, I don't know if you remember the show Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Oh, yeah,
like the first episode I think ever was on the Mask DVD.
Oh, really?
Because Jim Carrey was the guest on it.
Oh, I see.
And it
so
was like
kind
before the show came out. So like I watched that and I was like, what is this? And I was just so excited.
Yeah.
So I actually watched Space Ghost Coast to Coast because of the DVD. And this was back
hilarious.
when DVDs were two-sided and didn't have like the logo on it. You just had like read that little ring in the middle and it said like, this is side A. And that says, okay. And now you just stream everything. Now you just tell your phone, play this movie, and it will.
And it will just play it for you. I mean, going to the bathroom's never been more entertaining.
Yeah.
It never has been, ever.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think maybe, now that I think about it, we didn't have like a ton of movies in, like when I was a kid. Like, I guess it was like, if we wanted something, you could get it for your birthday or something. But it wasn't like, oh, we don't buy those. We just didn't, it wasn't a thing. But we did love movies. We went to movies. We watched movies. And, you know what I mean? But like, we didn't have
I'm
like
not saying a ton. I'm saying, what was your first?
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't know if I remember. It might have been one that I bought.
Yeah, I remember
as opposed to like us, you know, buying a bunch of DVDs.
Yeah, we didn't own a ton either, but it was funny like replacing, like my dad is always, because everybody has their own.
Yeah.
But my dad's favorite Christmas Carol was with Alistair Sims, black and white version. It's great. I remember like we bought that, like you buy It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, all right, we got to replace the musts with DVDs now. Yeah. You're doing that.
And now it's funny because I listen to vinyl sometimes. I know you guys do as well. But like it's funny now, like my favorite stuff, no skip tracks kind of stuff. That's what I like to buy on vinyl. Because then like you intentionally, there's something about like intentionally playing something. And I know you intentionally push play on your phone or whatever, but it's so immediate. Like the idea to go choose to like pull the thing out, start it up and set it on there and listen to it is like, there's something really satisfying about that. So I like that. I don't remember my first DVD. I do remember my first CD. My first CD was the Space Jam soundtrack.
Nice. Men in Black.
Of all the Men in Black soundtrack.
The
soundtrack of like,
because it's
kind
cool.
of all the, I know, but it's like, but of all of the, of all the music that's out there, it was like, I need to have that.
It was just
Space
a perfect
Jam
time.
CDs
were out, and this movie came out, and I was like, well, this is a cool jam.
I'm going to go buy this one. This is pretty cool. It's hilarious. We're old.
Everybody who's listening is enjoying. I think most of them are like, I'm there with them.
Right there with
Maybe
you
a couple
guys.
that are like VHS. I'll Google that later.
Yeah.
I had a joke. It's one of those things like don't trust the internet. You don't know if like someone made this joke or if this really happened.
You think somebody would take time to upload something to the internet and have it be fake or stupid?
No, I think Bigfoot is real. But somebody posted like a meme of a guy holding up an old hard disk. And he's like, yeah, I have one of these lying around. And one of my students said, oh, sweet, you 3D printed the save emblem. I was like, it doesn't matter whether or not that's a made-up joke
save
or
icon
not. It's just a bummer because it's like, yeah.
There's like innocent moments that will age you that the kids don't say to be mean or to show that you're old or whatever. It's just like an honest thing that comes out of their mouth, and you're like, huh?
Yeah. When my kids
that's how your
have
brain
to watch
is...
commercials, they're just like, oh my God, commercials are the worst. And we're like, correct.
And that's them complaining about a 5-second ad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So it's worse.
It's where you learn to pee as fast as you can.
Go. Ready, go. Come back. It's on. It's back on.
Because you can't pause it. What do you mean you can't pause it?
Yeah, what do you mean you can't pause it? Because it was just on television.
Who's the jerk that's not waiting for you?
Who's playing God saying what goes on and when it goes on? You can't just...
Scheduled? What if I'm
decide
not home?
what I'm watching.
What do you mean it's scheduled? What if I'm not home? I know. And now we're back to VHS.
If only there was a way for me to capture it. And you'd put that sticker on the VHS too to write what's on it.
Yep.
and there's an episode of this on there, and then there's the Super Bowl, and then there's
Yep. Super Bowl.
Here we go.
We gonna get into a dumb dad moment.
First, no one cares who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, just can't tell me who you think's going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh man, I'm gonna say the Eagles.
Really? It's probably going to be the Chiefs.
I know it's probably gonna be the
It's
Chiefs.
probably
I'm just
gonna be the
saying
Chiefs.
the Eagles.
And well, it's like the whole thing about like, man, the refs and blah blah blah. But it's like they deserve to be there. I mean, 3 years in a row is pretty insane.
Oh yeah, I think so.
You know, I mean, like they're that good.
Yeah.
The Eagles are good too. So yeah, probably gonna be. If I had to bet, if I was gonna go to bet online, I'd throw money on the Chiefs, probably just because it's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because if you bet with your heart, sometimes you lose.
A lot of people did this year.
Hey, speaking of losers, I got a dumb dad moment for you.
Wow. Cool.
And I saw this thing on Instagram, came across my thing today, and it was like this guy's footage of like kids swinging on a swing set, and it was just a voiceover, and it just said, "If you don't think farts are funny, you're a loser." That's like all it said. It's like, all right, that's pretty funny. Yeah. So this week, I've been thinking about doing this for a while, but like because we used to ride bikes a lot with my kids.
Uh-huh.
Especially during the pandemic, I taught my son how to ride a bike. And my daughter, we upgraded her to one before we moved and everything. And we moved, and it's just been like, you get out of the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
We're in a new neighborhood, so we don't know the neighborhoods. We like walked it a few times, but it's certainly not like know it so well. Let's go for a bike ride. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm thinking like, we got to get into it though. I want these kids to be still in love with riding bikes, not something we once did a long time ago.
Sure.
You know. I mean, it's only been like a year, but it's been kind of bothering me that I just move the bikes around in the garage all the time, and that's all I ever do with them is move them around.
It's your parent thing that you're just like, we're bad parents. We're not doing enough. And
yeah,
it's like,
I don't do enough.
Happening?
Yeah. So I've kind of been teasing the idea a little bit lately. We should go on a bike ride soon enough, whatever. Yeah. And then the other day, it was like this is probably about this is like Monday, I think. And then somehow the week bike rides have saved me this week. Let me just say that. We've had like everything's fine, but like, you just had like a wild week. It was just like sick kids, Phil coming back. We're struggling to get together and all this because everything's crazy. Yes. And so I got the bikes out, and so I will say, have done it like every day with my daughter still in training wheel phase, but like asking to go out every day. I just walk behind her in the neighborhood and, help her out, teaching her a little bit. Yeah. The first day, though, total dumb dad moment was like they were sitting around, and it was kind of like not, there's like that lull before dinner, which is like don't really need to go start dinner right now, but they have finished their homework a while ago. They watched some screens for a little while, but it was like, let's do something with our time right now. Yeah. And I was like, hey guys, let's go for a bike ride. And they were just like immediately jazzed. I was like, sweet. So I go out there, fill up all the air and all the tires because they were flat. Yep. Fill up all the air and all the tires and everything, and just like, here we go. And my daughter's all nervous, so she puts on like elbow pads, knee pads, they both, helmets, everything. But she's just like, because this is the first time now. She feels like it's the first time because there's her newer bike, that was like, I don't really know.
Still with training wheels?
Still with training wheels, yeah.
That's overly cautious.
Correct. But my daughter, you can't talk her out of that.
Sure. Oh, why?
This is the decision I'm making. Let's go on a bike ride.
Yeah.
You're
That
like,
would be a different dumb dad moment if you said, don't put on so much protective wear.
Yeah, exactly. But the dumb dad moment was like watching her and my son with their knees like coming up near the handlebars.
Yep.
My daughter's leaning way too far forward. My son's like totally struggling. He's like, I can't balance. He just has like a BMX bike. But when I bought them their newer bikes, they were like, they're just a little outsized for them.
Didn't you buy him one and you got him like a grown-up one?
Grown-up like BMX bike, yeah. But BMX bikes, they're way squattier than like when we were kids.
Yeah.
But BMX bikes are still squattier than like a road bike, city bike, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's like probably a foot taller than when he even rode it the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's been a year.
Yeah, you bought a bike for an area where where we live, where there's no woods. You're not going in the woods with that.
No. But it's the kind of one he wanted. I mean, I went shopping with him. Was like, what bike do you think is cool? And he's like, that one. I was like, that's your bike then. It's a BMX bike. It's kind of like the version of the adult version of the one he had before. Anyway, all that to say is just like, so it's heavy for him because it's the full size now. He's the right size for it. And but just like not having thought of like the seats, not thought of the handlebars or anything.
You're just like, we have air in the tires.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
And the tires, let's go. And also thinking that I was close. I'm closer now after the week. My daughter progressed so much better. I mean, just in terms of like not struggling to get the bike going. She'll be on the training wheels for a while. But that I was like, I'm not riding with him. I got to walk with her.
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, she was like staying like 25 yards ahead of me now. Yeah. When we get to the comfortable straightaway on the sidewalk or whatever, she's just like pedaling away. Doesn't realize that I'm not right with her like I was the first few times. But man, I just felt so bad for him because they were like so excited about it. Luckily, it didn't deter them. You know, they were both still excited to go like all week. Just like spend a little bit of time, go out, go around the neighborhood a few times, and come back. But it's like I felt so dumb.
That'll be good when they get a new bike. I could have
thought of that. I mean,
yeah. That'll be good when they get a new bike because then it'll be much more comfortable. And they'll be like, "Oh, this is way easier." And you're like, "Yeah, no, I know. I started you hard."
Yeah. They're so yeah. Next day it came out, raised the seats. Now they're the proper. Not only are they the properly sized bicycles for them, but they
makes sense.
They can ride them. Yeah. So double check before you get a little overexcited about the bike ride.
My daughter's bike is just too small. We're on scooters right now, but she needs a new bike, which means he needs a bike. Which means he'll probably get her bike.
Because he's always just ridden, right? Behind you?
He's always just ridden behind us.
In the seat that's attached to the bicycle.
Yeah, a little on the bike rack on the back. Yeah.
I tried that once. One time.
Oh, that's right. She hated it.
My daughter was like screaming for me to stop.
My son hates it now, which is a bummer, but we did do the Ciclavia and which is, I've talked about it on a previous podcast, but he rode that. But by the end, he was like, "Can I get off?" And I was like, "I get it.
I want to run around."
I'm like,
strapped to the seat.
I get it, man.
Yeah. You guys are exercising. How come I'm not exercising? We used to have like the trailer, little caged trailer that we pulled behind, which my daughter loved. But it was once in a while, which is fine for neighborhood rides and everything. But I was like, we can go further and stuff, and I'd be more confident to go in different places if she was just attached to the thing. Yeah. So that's when I bought that seat, and I was like, never again. I had to return it. She hated it so much. It scared the crap out of her. And I'm like, slow, it's fine. Nah.
That's when my son would like it if I started bombing down the street. Then it would be like, all right, finally, this is interesting.
As cool as it is to look at your shoulders for the last hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Nightmare for him. My dumb dad moment is, what would you say is brought to you by?
Oh, I forgot to say my sponsor. My sponsor was just excitement.
Okay. My dumb dad moment is brought to you by poor routines, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Well, routines are still important. Yes.
So, yes.
But I guess if you're practicing a poor routine.
Yeah. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
That's right. That's right.
So, my wife works from home.
Yep.
And I'm going to make slight excuses, but I'm totally owning this dumb dad moment. But as was illustrated,
deflect along the way a little bit.
I'll deflect along the way to paint the picture because it's not black and white, but it's 100% my fault.
Okay.
So as was illustrated by what we talked about with this week, just being kind of insane.
Yeah.
Just a lot going on all the time lately, and that's just how we make fun of January. But that's just how this year has been, and I'll get into a rhythm of my wife. She works from home. She always gets excited when the kids get home, so she always makes sure to come out and say hi to them unless she's in a meeting or whatever. And that's kind of turned into I always make sure they get their homework done and try to make sure that they hang up their backpacks. And I made a post about it, but we got an ottoman, make sure the shoes get put away. I'm in a good rhythm of stuff, so I'm feeling fine about how I'm doing with whatever school or whatever. Yeah. If they have a test coming up, they'll tell me, and then we'll do some of the word whatever, right? So I'm doing fine. I don't need to don't need to investigate anything any further. I'm doing a great job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And then,
I can handle this stuff.
I handle this stuff, and then we move on, is my point. Then it's
Right.
like, let's go to the playground, go to Chuck E. Cheese, let's whatever, go in the backyard.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then my son, he's been bad about putting stuff away. So it's always just like, hey, buddy, clean your stuff up, put it in your backpack, put it away. I don't do any of that. Nobody does that except for the person it belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're not going to learn. Okay? Mm-hmm. They're not going to learn. Can't do it for them.
Look at me. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
So I was just like, all right, let's put it away. Put in your homework folder. What's this folder? So they have the Wednesday folder, which I know about. And my wife usually checks that one. I've been terrible about that one.
The Wednesday folder.
So there's a Wednesday folder. Do you guys have that?
No.
So every Wednesday they get one manila folder. It's like a big one too. Folds in half to fit in their backpack.
Yeah.
And that's like stuff from the school.
Oh.
And some stuff from the teacher. But it's like once a week you're getting stuff of like what's coming up. We have movie night. We have restaurant night.
I gotcha.
Field trips coming up. Here's the forms.
My daughter has a folder. She gets her whole week's homework on Monday.
Yeah.
So you take that home, take it out, leave that at home, work on it all week, and return it Friday. And then on the other side of the folder is like from school. So it's like take home, like to school, take home.
So you still have that every day to
every
look
day,
at.
like pull out a folder, look in there, and see if there's anything.
So he just has he has the homework folder, he has the Wednesday folder, and then the other day I was like, put all your stuff away, buddy, and clearing off the table for dinner or whatever. Put your homework in the folder, put it in your backpack. What's this folder? Like grab it. And my wife's like, that's his Boomerang folder. And I go, what the hell's a Boomerang folder? This is the first I'm hearing of it. January
100 days of school. But that was Friday. 100 days of school.
It was before the 100th day of school. just under the wire. So he has a Boomerang folder. I was like, what's the Boomerang folder? And it's like work that they're doing that you need to sorry, it was my daughter's Boomerang folder. But it's like work that they've been doing and that you need to acknowledge like the gradings of it. So I was just like, my wife's assuming, because she's been checking like the Wednesday folder, and I've been on top of them doing their homework, putting it away, putting it in the thing, that she just correctly assumed he's checking all of it. No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Now I have to read. I mean, and like whenever there's like the Senate has some like oversight meeting, and they're like, "Have you read this document?" And they hold up like a thick,
it's like a
book of.
That's a book.
So I had to read that much of my daughter's schoolwork to be like, all right, I gotta acknowledge your grades. And it was like the funniest part of like this dumb dad moment, this punishing dumb dad moment of not, because the teacher was just adding to it. Not we're on like class dojo, because it's not her job, it's not her responsibility. But it's funny that she never once checked in to be like, hey, just heads up, check that Boomerang folder. Like,
you don't need to return these to me.
No, you do. You have to sign it. You have to like initial that you.
Oh yeah.
That you saw the grades and send them back. Then she can do whatever, probably burn it or whatever. But now I'm going through all of her paperwork, and it was like the first one on the top was just like, it's January. I really enjoy doing this. And it was just like she just wrote us a short, a paragraph about herself, and it was like graded, and I was like, okay, cool, right, all right, initial that, and then I was like. All right, and as his a bunch of other tests, initial. Then I was like, it's December. I was like, okay, initial that. Test. November. Oh man, like reading that initial. And then October. Come on. Like, there was no September or August one, but I went all the way back to October, and I was like, oh man, that was just. I just had to acknowledge the teacher, like, sorry. So she's the worst. The thing I'm excited about is now to check the Boomerang folder next week and see if the teacher just gave up on me.
Yeah.
And is just chucking papers on top.
Yeah.
Or if she'll actually be like, oh, finally. Or if just out of habit, he's not checking it.
He's not checking it.
Cramming it on top there.
He's not looking at
but it was a lot of paperwork.
That is so funny.
And my wife was just like, how do you not know about this? I was like, Because I just want to make sure she's doing her math right.
I want to go outside.
Yeah.
One of the other teachers, they both know who you are. Like, he's one of the dumb dads. I know they call themselves dumb, but he's a pretty responsible dad. Oh, yeah?
Really? Counterpoint.
Let me show you this Boomerang folder. Not a book. Yeah. That's a folder.
He could have been checking this, but he was too busy pretending he's a funny little guy from the 80s. He could have been doing that, but he was in his backyard having a conversation with himself. But because he wore a different hat. Oh, it's two different people. No, that's okay. He's not checking. He's busy. He's a busy guy.
He's busy guy. He was PTA president. Yeah, don't need to remind me of that either.
I'm not PTA president. Fundraising chair. I'll probably be president next year.
All right, let's get to one of our user submission of dumb dad moments here.
Yes.
This one is sent in to us from Jason.
Jason, thanks for writing. Yes, you guys can email us dumbdadpod@gmail.com and send in your stories. You can also DM us. We're at the Dumb Dads on Instagram, or you can mail it in. The link is the address is in our link tree.
You can find it.
Handwrite a letter.
Believe in yourself. You can do anything. Okay, so this is from Jason. Jason writes, "Hey, dads.
Hi, Jason.
I just recently discovered your podcast. I love hearing all the fun stories, so I thought I'd share one of my own. Have you ever had your parenthood questioned by someone?
Yeah.
How about your own kid?
What?
One time, I told Johnny, about 4 years old, that it was time to leave the play area of the mall. He informed me he didn't want to go.
Oh, no.
I pulled the classic parenting maneuver and informed him that Daddy's leaving then.
It's such a bad move, and we all do it. We've all done it.
We've all done it. Never missing a beat, Johnny instinctively lays on the guilt trip and comes back with, "But I'm your family."
Oh, wow.
Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten, Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
Indeed, he was correct. We are family. But unwilling to concede his point, I picked him up and told him we were all leaving as a family and it was time to go.
Great.
After briefly protesting, Johnny pondered for a bit and then threw the mother of all tantrums, screaming and flailing as I was carrying him like a sack of potatoes over my shoulder. He was screaming, "I'm not your family! I'm not your family!"
Whoops. They don't know what kind of trouble that can get you in.
Yeah. Talk about your all-time backfires.
Yeah. Now you have to show strangers your photo album.
You see, in Johnny's mind, he would rather Daddy just leave him there to play, even if it meant not being in the family.
Yep.
But to everyone else,
crime.
Well, Johnny doesn't even look like me. He's very fair-skinned, and I am not. So I tried to hurry as fast as I could. Oh, God.
No, that's worse.
No, that's so much worse.
Don't pick up the pace. If you watch any spy movies, it's about acting like you've been there, walk out with confidence.
I looked over my shoulder, made sure no one was looking, and took off.
You're not my family. Oh, that sucks that kid said that. Oh, actually, he's running.
Yeah.
Is that kid right?
Do we need to do something?
Yeah.
This is really nerve-wracking. So I tried to hurry as fast as I could, carrying him, kicking and screaming through the mall back to my car. And, of course, going faster didn't help the situation at all.
Correct.
As I must have been the exact image of a kidnapper all parents warn their kids about. So Johnny's ingenious plan to remain at the mall play area was actually gaining traction.
Good.
We had to walk nearly a quarter mile through the mall, through another store, and into the parking lot. Johnny screaming about, "I'm not his family." Still maintaining it. He writes, "Oh, boy. I sure got some looks."
Yep.
Yeah. As I tried to reassure the general population of the mall that, yes, he was indeed my son, and please don't call the cops. Man.
You just got to walk around with a photo of the two of you.
One gal almost tried to stop me as I got to the door. Did she call the cops? I will never know.
Oh.
Because I was gone. Hopefully she didn't get my license plate. And then he has a nervous emoji. In the end, I got him to the car. Johnny was asleep in about 5 minutes. No cops came. Crisis averted for the time being. Well played, kid. Well played. But Daddy still won. From Jason. Oh, Jason.
You know what's tough is like all the parents there are all kind of were beating themselves up for the rest of the day.
I know. I was feeling that the whole time I was reading
because
that.
they're like, I should have called the cops.
I'm pretty sure I saw a guy abduct a child.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, what did the guy like? He looked like his dad, right? Not really.
But families are complicated.
Yeah, I don't know. The kid was mad he was leaving, so I get that part. But then the guy, I mean, he kind of like ran away with the kid.
I really probably
was the kid saying
should've.
anything? Yeah, he was saying, I'm not in this guy's family.
Yeah. I should have called. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't put that in your mouth. All right, we're leaving. All right, I'll see you later.
Oh, my God. That's so scary.
That's just tough. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough look.
It's a tough look.
You're not wrong that like they probably did beat themselves up. I would.
Yeah, I would too.
Because I've never been in that situation before, but until you're in the situation, you don't know how you're going to act, and you think like, why didn't I just freeze or something? You know, like
yeah. I mean, everybody's been in a situation where they felt like I probably should have stepped in some regard, whatever it was.
Okay, so what do you do if that happens? Your kid, you know, next week you're like, we're going to go. We have to go. We're going now. Okay, all right. I already said it nice to you. We're going. You're relying on the fact that people saw you there with that kid.
What do I do if the kid says, you're
and then
not
he starts
family?
pulling that on you? Yeah. What is the move?
I mean, I think one of the moves is you stand them up, you take a knee, and you go, if you keep that up, they will take you away from me forever. Or at least for the next 12 hours while they suss things out.
Yeah. I think probably one of the moves is you're staying for a while.
But they're not playing. Can't give them what they want. You can't be threatening you. I'm certainly not going to be like, you get to play because you threatened to do you're not my family.
I know.
And I'm scared of cops.
That's true. That's true. You can't reward the behavior.
We're going to sit here until you acknowledge I'm your family.
Say it. Say it to that person.
Say, fine, we'll just keep sitting here. We'll just keep sitting here until I'm your dad. Hi,
say
how
it
are
to
you?
that lady over there who keeps filming us.
Yeah. And then you do that overreaction that people do when they're getting filmed. Oh, hi, are you filming this? Cool. Why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Why did I do that? I don't have to react to the camera.
This is a bad day. This is a bad day.
Can we leave now, son?
We see the person typing, do you know who this is?
Yeah.
Post.
Yeah. Milk carton.
That's Jason. That's his kid.
Oh, boy. Well, Jason, good job. Thanks for writing in. Thank you for writing in. We appreciate it. Yeah, as Kevin said, dumbdenpod@gmail.com. Send him in on Instagram. So good. We appreciate that.
It's a great place to leave it.
Yep.
Thanks for writing in, guys. Again, this is our last podcast before we're on the tour. So
before we're on the tour,
check it out. Let people know. Yep. Buy some tickets. We'll hope to see you there. Really excited to show you the show. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for doing SoundCloud. Thanks to Annie for editing this podcast. What do you got for us for jokes?
Well, I got a joke book here that was given to me by you for Christmas. Dad Jokes 2, but it's TOO, and right there it says see what we did there. So I'm already a little bit nervous.
Yep.
So we're just gonna.
Yeah. If it's a whole book, it's not gonna be good.
But there's got to be something in here, right?
Has statistically.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Albie.
Albie who?
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
All right, we'll try again next week.
We'll try it again next week.
Okay,
wow.
Okay, bye. Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?
The Dumb Dad Podcast is proudly presented by Bet Online.